Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamsin Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before we get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss a conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there as a community. We can talk about all the things that we love. Today on Throwback Thursday, we're looking at Bruce Lee's last movie, Bruce Lee, Game of Death. I air quote Bruce Lee's last movie because Bruce Lee is only in this from clips of other movies he's been in, and the one scene he was able to film before his unfortunate death. The last fight scene in this tall building where each level is a more difficult fighter. I realized what they tried to do with this movie. They did their best to make Bruce Lee's vision, and they failed miserably. So the little I do know about the behind the scenes of this movie is Bruce always wanted to make a movie with the name Death in it, and at the time it was really taboo and bad luck to have the word death in any movie title. Superstitious people would say that's why he died in the filming of this movie. I can't remember exactly why he did die. I remember hearing it was because of a head injury during filming this, and he took an aspirin and never woke up. I don't know how true that is, but they get a completely different actor, and I'll put it up in post because I'm sure the information out there by now who the actual actor they got to play him. I don't know if it was because the script wasn't complete or just wasn't a good script and it just wasn't revised because they're trying to be true to what Bruce Lee wanted to make. This movie's horrible. Like, the only good thing in this movie are the fight scenes. The actor they got to play Bruce Lee, it's amazing they got him to move like Bruce Lee. It's so painfully obviously not Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee has a certain physique. It's distinguishable from anyone else. I know you could say that about mostly everyone, but Bruce Lee is Bruce Lee. You can tell from a mile away if it's him or if it's not. And they do everything in their power to try to make you think it is Bruce Lee, but I think most of the people in this movie are dubbed, including Bruce Lee. What they should have done is just use the actor to play Billy Lowe, that's the character's name, and just in the beginning of the movie, in memory of Bruce Lee, something along the lines of that, and like, they couldn't make the movie with him because of the accident. I think that would have been fine. But no, they hide this guy in shadows, makeup, they film his back a whole lot. The clips they use of Bruce Lee, they're so painfully obvious, and there's one that's horribly out of place. So this one fight scene takes place after a tournament fight. And let me go over the plot just a little bit after... since I've been bashing the movie. Billy Lowe owes some gangsters money or something like that, and he can't pay it, and that's why they're after him. And it's just a series of fights throughout the entire movie. That's the other thing that makes this movie bad. It's just one long fight scene, and that would be okay if there was an actual good story and good characters and good acting. The acting in this is atrocious. Both what you see on the screen and the ADR, the dubbing is horrible. Billy Lowe is supposed to be the fictitious version of Bruce Lee because in the beginning of the movie they're filming the end fight in Enter the Dragon, which makes sense when they credit Chuck Norris in the opening credits because they said Chuck Norris. I was like, I thought it was only one Bruce Lee movie. It's showing that in this world that it's a film as well, and that Billy Lowe is the actor in the film, because they also do what was the other one? Fist of Fury. But the fight scene in the locker room after the tournament between this character Carl Miller and Chen Lo. Carl Miller is like a henchman or something of the gang, and Billy Lowe confronts him in the locker room, and they do this one shot of Bruce Lee which clearly is not a locker room. Wow, this movie's horrible. They should have just used the actor they got to replace Bruce Lee instead of trying to do this smoke and mirror act, which failed miserably. Because the guy moves like Bruce Lee. It looks really, really good. This could have been a great homage story, and I think that's what they wanted to do, but also try to trick you into thinking that it's Bruce Lee. There's one shot in the beginning of the movie where it's a close-up of the character, Billy Lowe. They physically take a cutout of Bruce Lee's face and put it over top of the actor. Yeah, ancient Photoshop. It's horrible. They did more harm than good making the movie for Bruce Lee. Last bit of harsh criticism, this should not be in his greatest hits. It should not be a Criterion. Don't bother with this movie. That's all I got, because all I'm going to do is bash on this movie from here on out. It's fun to look up the behind the scenes about it, learn the history, but it's painful to watch the movie. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on Game of Death. Maybe you enjoyed it? If you did... I'd like to hear your side. If you like what you saw, like it. If you think other people will like it, share it. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and live your imagination.